Hello, folks. Welcome in to another edition of the Sports Sanity Podcast right here on the SIN YouTube channel. Danny Boy, welcome. Bill Corpus Crispy with you. Episode number 431. We are sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood. How's it going, Billy Boy?
It's going good. How are you? We're back. It's Monday, another great week.
Yes.
We got another week, folks. And had a nice weekend away in Long Island. I'm back.
Yeah. I've not been to Long Island. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time since I've done anything on Long Island. So it's always a good time. Long Island has some great beaches, great attractions. So I'm glad you had a good weekend.
Yeah. I got a little burn because I'll be honest, I don't tan.
Yeah, I mean, neither do I. I'm not very good when it comes to uh protecting myself from the sun. I have a lot of melanin, so it just, does it itself. But
I got that, as you can see, I got that white Irish skin.
yeah.
So us Irish, we do not tan. We fry like chicken.
Yep.
We fry like chicken. But the only thing is, my brother tans.
Fair enough.
My brother tans, which is weird.
Hey, he probably wants some good color. Like, I get it.
Yeah, I
Get
don't.
it.
So anyway, well, we got a good amount of stuff to talk about. We're still in slow season.
Yeah, still in slow season, but things are picking back up. We swear. By Friday, we're going to be in training camp mode along with baseball mode because everyone would have reported by then. So we're very thrilled. We'll have more on, I'll certainly have more on the Jets when we start training camp. Bill will have more on the Giants when they start training camp. It's an exciting week. We're starting to turn a corner here. And baseball, it's in its, starting to get to its home stretch. August is coming up next week. So, for those of you that don't understand, August and September baseball, prime parts of the season. This is where you need to watch these games. This is where the games become more important. So, uh, we're excited about that. But going to the news of today, um, as much as we don't want to talk about politics, and I hate politics, it
Listen,
spills into our conversation all the time.
this is like what Reg said. Listen, we are not a political show.
Yeah,
We are not a we are not a political show.
right.
We we try to keep politics out of it.
I know nothing about politics. Let's be real, you
Does anybody know anything about politics, to be honest?
know?
Listen, we have talked politics before. We're not a political show, but
Right.
when politics and sports get intertwined, like we've talked about the racial justice protests before. We've talked about the COVID vaccine with sports. But listen, when we do get political, I need to give you all a warning here. We understand that we have listeners on all parts of the spectrum. We have listeners on the right, we have listeners on the left, we have listeners who are in the center. This is our personal opinion. I just want to say that. We may disagree with you, but this is just our opinion. But you know what? This is a debate that's been going on for years.
Yeah.
And we thought we somewhat had this settled, but of course, our president, Donald Trump, has to bring this up again.
Yeah, so obviously the Trumpster, he wants to try to get involved with the whole RFK uh stadium deal with the Commanders in Washington, D.C. And look, just before we get into anything further, there has not been a deal made yet. That there's like a tentative, like non-binding agreement between the Muriel Bowser, the NFL, and Josh Harris, the owner of the Commanders, where they at one point actually had exclusive negotiation uh, between each other. That has since expired, and now the Commanders are free to go wherever the hell they want. But I think they still prefer DC. They still prefer the RFK site. Um, so, but the DC Council also has to vote on it too, and there's a lot of opposition from the DC Council. So there's no official thing yet with the RFK Stadium deal. That has not been set in stone. With that said, Donald Trump recently, as Bill said, came out and um, is putting some wants to put some demands for the Commanders. And when the biggest demand is to change the name back to Redskins, which of course was a name change because the, the previous owner, the Snyder family, they um decided that based on the opinions of fans and the Native American community that they wanted to change the name. And the only thing I had to say about it, and Bill is dead on about it. It's a distraction. You
May
know,
I?
go for it.
Hey, first of all, before we get into that, do you mind if I read the Truth Social post in my Trump impression?
Uh, you can. It's not going to change anything for sure. Why not?
Okay, you know what? I won't do it in the Trump impression.
Yeah.
The Washington whatever should immediately change their name back to the Washington Redskins football team. There is a big clamoring for this likewise. The Cleveland Indians, one of the six original baseball teams with a storied past, are great Indian people in massive numbers want this thing to happen. The
Mhm.
heritage and prestige is systematically being taken away from them. Times are different now that they were 3 or 4 years ago. We are a country of passion and common sense. Owners, get it done. Okay, I'm gonna be that last part. Owners, get it done. My God. Like, no, but I'm with you. Reg, this is just a giant distraction. It really is.
Yeah, it could because obviously, Trump has his whole the Epstein files and
You got the
everything.
Epstein thing going on.
Mm,
You got the big beautiful bill that just passed
yeah,
that
which is a
could,
disaster. Has
which is going to be a disaster. I'm calling that right
the
now.
vast majority of the country do not support that bill, by the way.
And and the thing is, he and just the things that have been going on in like LA and
Yeah. Right. It's
things
it.
that have been going on the past couple months with Kilmer, Grego Garcia, like
Yeah,
all of this shit that's been going on. Trump is trying to distract you. Trump is trying to distract the people. And
yeah,
like, listen, I'm not like one of those people. Like, there are these people on YouTube who say men shouldn't watch sports because it distracts them. No, this is not that. These are people. He's literally trying to distract you with something trivial.
yeah,
And like, listen, there is a debate about should Native Americans be considered mascots for sports teams. We've talked about that before. Like we've talked about that like very early on in this show. I think that was, when they were talking about that happening. And like, listen, if you want our stance, here's mine. Reg is free to give his stance. I think Redskins, I think changing that name was the right thing to do
yeah,
because Redskins can be seen as a derogatory term. And so I can understand that. But, but when it comes to something like Indians, that I'm a little torn on because I don't think Indians is really I don't really think if or I don't really think that's a bad thing to call a team the Indians. I don't know what you think, Reg.
When I think of Indians, I think of like the Native Americans. So,
Yes.
so I think out of the two, Indians was the least offensive because that's the nickname that they've had all these years. And they up until now they really never had a real problem with the Cleveland franchise using that name until of course they changed it a while back. Um, Look, I don't care. Like I said, I'm not like a huge political guy. I didn't care if Redskins was the football name. Like I didn't care that much. Maybe that's just me being ignorant or whatever. Um, but if if the Washington franchise at the time felt the need to change the name because they wanted to it was offending a group of people, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. How does the group of people, the vast majority of the group of people, feel about it? They did studies, and it turns out that it was very offensive to some of these Native Americans. So, knowing that, they felt that it was time to change the name, which I am in support of. I'm supportive of a franchise that wants to rebrand for those purposes.
Like with
If they want to go back to Redskins, they should do it because they want to, not because they're getting pressure from the president. Like that, like I thought. So first of all, I thought Donald Trump was pro-business. He clearly isn't because he's telling a a business to change their brand. That's not your job, Mr. President. So that's where I stand on it. I don't care about what the name is. My my point is, what do you want? What does the business want? You know?
like here's my thing though, Reg. When it comes to that, just in general, I think you got to go on a case by case basis.
Yeah.
Like, I think, something like Redskins, I think they did the right thing because, again, that could be seen as a derogatory term.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at, but, like there are local high schools and colleges there have been local high schools and colleges that have Native American, like, for instance, there's a high school by me. I'm not going to give out what it is. I'll just say it's not the high school I went to. But they were thinking about because their mascot is the Indians. So when this whole thing was going on, they were thinking about changing the name. And like, listen, I understand where those people are coming from, but there is Native American history in this area. In this area, there is Native American history. And, same with Cleveland too. With Cleveland as well. But because you know what? Because my thing is, in some cases, like I said, with Cleveland, that local high school, if there's, Native American history there and they want to acknowledge it, that shouldn't be an issue at all. And like, because why should the New England Patriots, because that's where a lot of the American Revolution started, why can they be proud and be proud of their history and call themselves the Patriots, but yet Cleveland, if there is Native American history in that area, they can't be proud of that. But that's where I stand on that. But there are some like team names. I think they're going way too overboard. Like there was a talk a couple years ago. I think we talked about this. There were a very small amount of people that wanted to change the name of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish because they found that's offensive. And I'm like thinking, most Irish American, and this is coming from an Irish American. most Irish Americans are totally fine with that.
Yeah. And, and that's the point, like,
You got to go on a
if
case
it's
by
not
case.
if it's not offending the group, then you don't have to do anything. But
Like, you got to
yeah,
go on a case by case basis.
yeah, you
But
gotta go case by case for sure.
but this is
Um,
the thing, and now Trump is what is he? He's trying to withhold the stadium rights or
yeah, he's
something.
trying to technically speaking, because DC controls the land now. Even though it's federal land, but the DC controls it. Um, technically speaking, I don't know how much power he has. I would have to ask around. I mean, I'll ask some of my reporters when I get back to work tomorrow. But like, but the I don't think he has much say over it because DC is has control of the land. They're be a lease. So ultimately the decision's up to the DC, up to the city, unless of course Donald Trump takes over DC like he has proposed several times. Um, but he'll do everything and anything to try to block this stadium deal, which I think is stupid. If, Mr. President, let how about you allow businesses to do whatever the hell they want, right? If Washington Commanders want to move back to the RFK site, let them move back to the RFK site. Let them do their thing. Don't prevent them for just because you're trying to get like a big political win here. Like you're not helping yourself here. You're really not. And you could be costing a city millions of dollars if you try to successfully block them from going back to RFK. So if the Commanders don't go back to RFK, let it be because the city residents don't want it back. Let it be because the DC council said, you know what, this does not benefit our people. Allow that to happen. Don't let it be because the president of the United States wanted to get involved uh it's the dumbest thing in the world. He needs to back the freak off. Like seriously, just back away. You have your own issues. Stop trying to pivot from all your other issues and just leave the NFL alone. Look, I'm glad that you helped out in trying to get the NFL draft over to DC. That's in a couple of years, but this you need to step aside. This has nothing to do with you. Stop trying to make it about you and let NFL franchises do their own business.
I got a couple things to say if you don't mind.
Okay.
Um, One, because you know what it is. It's like you can't do that, and I think this is just absolutely. I think this is just absolutely ridiculous. Again, and also in his post, I know the many Native Americans who would support changing it back to.
Good.
Who have you been talking to?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who exactly? Like, have you gone to a Native American land, any reservation, any Indian reservation? Have you been to on them and you asked them? Like, but again, even if that's not his job.
And like, here's the thing. It's like, again, like bringing up the Notre Dame example again. If they said, hey, we spoke to many Irish Americans, and here's what they say. And here's the problem though. It's like, okay, you know what this whole thing is like? You know that Family Guy episode? I don't know if you've seen it. It's one of the older ones back when Family Guy was good. Um,
It was a long time ago.
when there was an episode when Mayor West basically used town funds to do a Diggum statue, the frog from one of the frogs from the cereal commercials, and he spent like a ridiculous amount of money. And he actually said he was going to sign a gay marriage ban just to distract the people from the statue.
Yeah.
And I think Trump is kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Because
it's
of
exactly
all
that.
the things we have been going on the last, since the beginning of this administration, whether it be Kilmer Abrego Garcia, the Epstein files, the big beautiful bill, all of this stuff that's going on right now, the economy is not doing any better.
Yeah.
And he's distracting people with this.
Well, yeah, because look, so far he's had a disastrous administration, and
But
again,
like,
like I said, I know nothing about politics. I'm just basing it off of political experts. They're telling me he's been a disaster so far, right? So, and of course, you probably know more than I do, Bill. But like, yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He's not leading a country. There's you have the National Guard going to cities across America to try to stop peaceful protests and instigate and incite violence. You know, that's all over your TV screens. You have
and
people who are in this country legally, who are migrants, who are in this country legally, who are being sent to prisons for no reason, without due process. That's all over your TV screens.
you have people who are struggling to pay the damn bills.
Right.
And you know what it is? It's like, do you think those people who are struggling, Reggie, do you think they're thinking, you know what? I really think the Washington Commanders should change their name back to the Washington Redskins. No!
I don't think people care. That's my point.
Have you ever seen that meme when it said, no one ever, me, and then something stupid? That's the thing he's doing right now. And you know what? And here's another one more thing I have to say about this. And this is the thing Reggie knows this bugs the freaking hell out of me.
Yeah.
Where are all the people who go, well, we should just keep politics out of sports? Where are those people?
No, yeah, it
You know,
doesn't
like the
exist.
people when Kaepernick was taking a knee, or the NFL players were taking a knee for the national anthem to protest racial injustice.
Yeah.
To protest racial injustice. Or, well, you should keep politics out of sports. I'm not watching the NFL anymore. We should just keep politics out of sports. Okay, where are you guys? Hello? Hello? Frickin' crickets. Freaking crickets. And that's
Well,
what,
because they know that their side is the one that's leading the charge, right? So
yeah, freaking crickets. Because, again, why those people annoy me so much? And like, listen, I'm not talking about the people who are like, who are consistent, who said, listen, I don't care if it's liberal politics, conservative politics, I just want politics out of sports.
mm,
If that was that, people say, I don't care what side, I just want to watch football, baseball, basketball. I don't care if it's liberal, conservative, I just want it out. I want no politics, I just want to watch the game. I just want to watch the game. If those people I actually have respect for, and I will not, and this is not guaranteed, and this is not targeted towards you, but these people, they only want politics out of sports because it's not their politics. Reggie, you've heard me say this like 100 times. Like, they only don't want politics because it's not their politics.
yeah.
And if it was their politics, and like I said, these people here, where are the people who were screaming about the Kaepernick thing, saying that politics should be out of sports? You hear that? That's their response. Dead silence, freaking crickets.
So
Damn crickets.
yeah,
You know what?
it's tough.
I don't want to hear again. I'm sorry, Reg. I don't want to hear when someone makes a political statement. I don't want to hear from these people again. Well, politics should stay out of sports. Well, shut the hell up. Don't be a freaking hypocrite.
Yeah.
Because you were probably the same people that were screaming about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee for the national anthem, but yet now you're either staying quiet or you're like, no, maybe I agree with Trump. But no, no, be consistent. And if you're those people that want to say, listen, I don't want liberal politics, I don't want conservative politics in sports, I think sports should just be apolitical, then listen, I respect you. And you know what? I agree. I I totally agree with you. I respect your opinion. I think and that rant was not targeted towards you, so please don't take it that way. But yeah, I think this whole thing is stupid. This whole thing is ridiculous. You're bringing up a debate that's basically already been settled. You got a ton of other problems in this country right now, and I think this is the last thing, not even the last thing. Reggie, I think this is not even on people's minds.
Yeah. And if I'm Josh Harris, just like you have, just like you do your other franchise, just go about your business. Don't worry about the president. You know, like you do what you gotta do.
I
For
guarantee you, though, Trump's going to try to bully him to do this.
but no. But you see, and if he does that, then then we really truly are going into some type of authoritarian um bullshit.
If he calls Josh Harris should just straight up say, Mr.
Because if
President, you have
see
no control over
See,
this.
see, see, a boss move would be, you know what, Trump, you want to change my name? Cool. I'll go to Virginia and I'll build a stadium there. And I won't change the name. That's a boss move.
They're also talking about bringing it to
And look,
Virginia?
and you watch. Let's just say Josh Harris decides to keep the stadium in Prince George's County, or they go to Virginia. You know, if they go and he keeps the name, you watch. Donald Trump's going to claim political victory. You didn't win anything because they didn't change the name like you wanted. So that would be a boss move for Josh Harris to be like, I'm going to go stay in Maryland, or I'm going to go to um, Virginia, and I'm going to keep my team name, and we're going to build a brand from there. It's not going to be in DC, unfortunately, even though look, there's a lot other issues with DC besides the name that that the stadium is not quite there yet. But yeah, that would be a boss move. So if I'm Josh Harris, this is my last thought. Stick with your stick with what you want to do. You already told fans you're not changing the name. Stick with that and run your business like yours. And don't listen to the president. The president doesn't care about you. The president cares about him. He's a selfish, narcissistic dumbass and only cares about himself. And
Totally agree.
I know I'm being redundant, but that's my point.
Yeah, this
It's
is
all
just
about him.
in bottom line for the people who are telling us, oh my God, you're a sports podcast. Why are you talking politics? Listen, you think we like doing this?
Yeah.
Well, we love doing the podcast, but do you think we like talking about politics?
Mhm. We don't,
And
but
listen, we want to remember the good old days where we just talked about batting averages and touchdowns, and remember those days? Those were good days. Those were good days. But, bottom line, this whole thing is freaking stupid. He's bringing up a debate that's already been settled. He has no leverage. He's just trying to distract people from all the other shit that's going on. I think this whole thing like again, we don't know how much power he relatively has. He might have some, he might have none. I think I think I think Josh Harris should just do like what Reg said, say fine, then we're just even staying here or we're going to Virginia. And you can go kick rocks. Or he can just say, Mr. President, you literally have no jurisdiction here. This is not we you don't have any control in the NFL. So just shut up and leave us alone. So yeah, again, politics going into sports, and this is driving me crazy. Because again, the people who yell, "I don't want politics in sports," yeah, you only want it if it's not your politics. So please shut up. Okay, let's move on to lighter topics, shall we?
this is a lighter topic.
No, actually, no, it isn't. It's
Um,
lighter than this, but it's still not a good topic.
exactly. Um, the NFL is back. Will Levis won't be back. He has shoulder surgery. He's having shoulder surgery. and will be out for the season. Not much of a blow for the Titans. I don't think they care about him, but still, uh, very messy over in Tennessee right now. Very messy. Still trying to figure things out. Um, then we move on to baseball. Big weekend. Things got tighter all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
Yankees went 2 out of 3 in Atlanta, thank goodness.
All right. Yes, finally.
Yeah. Being this year's Atlanta Braves, I think they would have lost Saturday. They would have lost Saturday.
And plus, Grisham's home run.
Yeah, Grand Slam, yeah.
That was, I was in a bar in Long Island when that happened.
Yeah.
And one of my friends who I was with, who's a big Met fan, I remember I putting my hand on him saying, "You're welcome."
Mhm. Well, they didn't stand a chance anyway. They're not winning the division. They're not making the playoffs. Like it's just been a disastrous year for Atlanta. It's been really bad. They had a 5-0 lead. 5-0 lead, and they blew it. That's how bad they are.
Oh, I agree.
Like, how do you go from winning 5-0 to basically losing 12-3? You were outscored 12-3 the rest of the way. Crazy. Or was it 12-4? I think it's 12-4. But you get my point. Crazy.
Totally agree.
Yeah. And then, of course, Yankees win on Sunday. Good start by Stroman. Another home run from Aaron Judge. He is like 36 on the season. He also tied Alex Rodriguez with 351 Yankee home runs. So, um, good on him. And now the Yankees go on to Toronto in a big series. They're not going to sweep the Blue Jays, but if they do, they'd be tied in the American League East. So that would
No.
be this is a big series, another big series uh, north of the border. Yankees need to make a statement here.
Oh, they absolutely do. You swept the Braves. Congratulations.
Or the 2 out of 3.
Okay, you took 2 out of 3 from the Braves. Congratulations. But now, guess what? Now, if they take 2 out of 3 from Toronto, even if they don't sweep Toronto, because I don't see them sweeping Toronto in all honesty, there, pal.
No, they're terrible.
If they don't take 2 out of 3 from Toronto, if they take 2 out of 3 from Toronto, I think the Yankees would be in good shape.
Yeah.
If they lose 2 out of 3, I think it's time to hit the panic button.
I wouldn't say panic. They are at the top of the wild card. But what it will definitely um, set is the fact that the Blue Jays are the best team in the American League East right now. Like I think they lose if they get swept by Toronto, it's gonna be very hard to try to catch for the division. Like it would take probably not necessarily a collapse, but certainly a really bad August and September stretch for the Yankees to make some type of moves. So this is a big series. I'll be content with 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays.
Okay.
Well, it gets them within because right now they're within striking distance. They get 2 out of 3. That's one. They get one. They're a game out, so that puts pressure on the Blue Jays to try to keep winning.
No, that actually does put a lot of pressure on the Blue Jays to keep winning.
Yeah, but if they get swept, well, the Yankees, you can certainly kiss division goodbye, and they only have to focus on the wild card.
Nah, the Blue Jays are looking good right now. So this is gonna be
It's gonna be a tough series.
what was that?
It's gonna be a tough series.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is going to be a tough series. So yeah, and Judge went yard yesterday. He's now six on the Yankees list.
Yeah, yeah, I mentioned he tied Alex Rodriguez.
He's
Um,
got A-Rod.
yeah.
So now we move along to we yeah. So Yanks take two out of three from Atlanta. They're going to Toronto, and also we got to give a tip of the hat to New York's other team, to the Mets. David Wright, his number was retired this weekend. Won't get too much into this because I know you guys probably talked about it on Batter Up.
Mm, yeah, we did.
So
But you can, I mean, you can say what you have to say though. Like,
I didn't watch a lot of the ceremony. Like I said, I was away this weekend. I saw clips of it. But I just gotta say, David, I am a lifelong Yankees fan. I'm wearing my 2009 World Series championship shirt right now. I am a diehard Yankee fan, but I always liked David Wright.
mm.
He's always been a class act. He's basically been like the Mets version of Derek Jeter.
Right. And you know how hard it is, Bill. I cut you off. I apologize.
No, go
Um,
ahead.
uh, um, you know how hard it is to be a a baseball player that played his entire career with the Mets. That never happens with the Mets. You either come from free agency or you get traded or you leave in free agency, right? Like
Yes.
not a lot of homegrown Mets stay Mets their entire career. David Wright did that. One of the rarest ones to do that.
Totally agree.
So, and he did it with class, and he played some great ball. Unfortunately, the spinal stenosis he had suffered late in his career uh, really derailed any type of opportunity to bolster his numbers and make a Hall of Fame case. And I do think that David Wright's a Hall of Famer. That's just maybe it's my New York bias, but I've watched David Wright play. David Wright's a fucking beast. So. Um, but yeah, man, like, hats off to the Mets for doing the right thing, retiring his number. And salute to David Wright for being an all-time Met. He's always been, and he's gonna be a great ambassador to the franchise. And you know, like he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Always
And
put his hands up well.
here's the thing. We always talk about how, the Mets don't really have a lot of captains. So when you see something in David Wright,
Mhm.
you see something special.
Yeah,
You see something special.
yeah,
And we see something special in David Wright.
yeah. I'm glad that he got his World Series moment. He hit that home run in game three. Um, Safefield exploded with that. That was great for him. Um, he should have won the World Series in '06. Let's be real.
Yeah, I
The Mets were the
agree.
better team in '06 than the Detroit Tigers. The upstart Detroit Tigers. Um,
What are you gonna do? And no, I agree. This is a guy who spent his whole career with the Mets,
yeah.
and we congratulate him for his hard work. And I think he totally deserves his number to be retired. Now, here's the thing: his number is on the rafters of City Fields now. Reg, should he be in Cooperstown?
Well, that's what I've been saying. Like, I think there's a Hall of Fame case. Unfortunately, the tail end of his career was derailed by injuries, and he just never had the chance to really boost his numbers. So he's not going to be seen that way. He'll never be in the Hall of Fame.
And you know how the idiot baseball writers are.
Yeah. The most that's going to happen to he's going to go to he's definitely going to go to a committee, right?
Yeah.
And the committee is going to vote, whatever it is, and they'll vote no.
I agree. Well, no.
They vote no. So, I think he's a Hall of Famer. He won't be in the Hall.
Well, we congratulate him though.
Yeah, certainly.
We congratulate him, and his number deserved to be retired. So, okay. Any other news in baseball? The Brewers won five in a row.
They won 10 in a row.
10 in a row, excuse me.
Yeah,
They've won 10 in a row.
yeah. They swept the Dodgers. How about that? Um, Dodgers not playing well late. Dodgers not playing well late. They still have a 3.5 game lead over the Padres in the West, but they've won 2 of their last 10. So that is really bad. That is a tough stretch, and I think they were much worse over the past month. So um, definitely something to keep an eye on if you're a baseball fan. Keep an eye on the Dodgers. Dodgers struggling of late. They also just lost Freddie Freeman. He's day to day because he got hit by a pitch, and now he has a contusion in his hand. So certainly keep an eye out for that. But the Milwaukee Brewers, all of a sudden, they just tied the Cubs top of the Central. So that again, once again, the Brewers for whatever they're like the Rays for whatever reason with absolutely nobody, they come out of nowhere and they shock the baseball world. It's incredible. The Brewers and the Rays, the two of the teams, two of the franchises in baseball that have this big time analytics department. They build out of necessity with analytics because they can't afford like the other teams can.
No, they can't.
And somehow they find their way into the races. It's crazy. Insane.
Well, the AL Central could be getting interesting, huh?
NL Central. And
NL,
yes,
I know, I said NL. I said NL.
the AL.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain is like, yeah, no. I think the NL Central is gonna be starting getting interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so too. Look, and the Cubs, they had a good weekend against the Red Sox. Red Sox won the Sunday game. But Cubbies look great. Love their lineup. And keep watching that Central. That those two teams specifically, the Cubs and the Brewers. Of course, that's an all-time classic matchup. You know. So yeah.
Okay, so yeah, things are heating up in the NL Central. Yankees take two out of three
Yeah.
in the AL East. So yeah, a lot going on here in baseball.
Yeah, certainly. How about the Tigers getting to the first to 60 wins?
Wow. Did you have
Yeah.
that on your 2025 MLB season bingo card?
No, but I did have Tarek Skubal going for Cy Young Award. He's been tremendous. I think he had like 10 strikeouts or whatever, or maybe a little more than that last night. I lost track because he's just unbelievable. But
Beast.
within the first 3 innings, he had like 7 strikeouts. Skubal, and he does it with like these nasty pitches, these nasty curves, nasty breaking balls, fastballs are tremendous. Like no one, he's untouchable. The only one that who is it? The only one that's only I think it's like Corey Seager or whatever. I think he's like 8 for 12 or whatever it is.
Yes.
But Skubal is tremendous. You know.
Oh, he's been terrific.
And he is the American League Cy Young. Let's call it what it is. He is.
And also, we'd also like to give a congratulations to Mike Trout,
Mhm.
who is now second in most career multi RBI records for the Angels. He passed Tim Salmon. He's now number two with 256. Number
Right.
one is Garrett Anderson at 311. So we congratulate Mike Trout.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Um, how about the American Athletic Conference renaming themselves as the American Conference? Like it was actually a real thing. Like, did you really call it the AAC or did you call it the American? Like,
Just call it the American
well, the
Conference.
American. Exactly. So, the American Conference, they're rebranding just in time for the football season.
America.
By the
Yeah.
way, in the American Conference, formerly known as Big East Conference.
See, they're changing things again.
Uh, Big East still exists under new leadership. It's great. Um,
Yes.
in any case, yeah, I got nothing else. That's
Yeah,
all.
me neither. That is it for today.
Mhm.
If you like what you see here, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out our blogs, our history. Check out our podcast, available on all platforms. Check us out here on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell.
We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for always joining us. This has been the Sports Sanity Podcast, sponsored now by the Dugout of Millwood. Episode 431 in the books. I promise you, I will get the audio version of the past episodes. I think I'm now three behind with the conclusion of this episode. I will get them all up very soon. So, in the
We'll get it done.
meantime, stay safe, take care. We love you, and have a good week.
All right, we'll see you later.